Talk with Tyson Bryden. Come on for the ride. We'll take you inside. Non-stop rock talk. It's non-stop rock talk with Tyson Bryden. Come on for the ride. We'll take you inside.
Welcome to Nonstop Rock Talk. I am your host, Tyson Bryden. On today's show, I'm very happy to welcome singer-songwriter Mike LeCompt. Mike, welcome. How's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm blessed. Another day.
Awesome. I mean, it's such a pleasure for me to have you on the show. And before we start this rock talk, I kind of wanted to ask you about Philly sports, because I know you're a fan of sports
Absolutely.
as well as music. And I do not mind talking sports on my show.
You know, I'm a sports guy. I'm baseball, hockey, football, of course, and basketball, everything. But it just, it seemed to let us down.
Well, I mean, for hockey, being in Toronto, being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, it's tough.
Well, the guys are born with skates on too.
That's right.
But nevertheless, that when Philly came back from beat Pittsburgh, my mouth dropped because I'm friends with Rick Tocchet. I know
That's
him
cool.
a long time. He's been a fan of the band 40 years ago. He'd come out and see me, and we were acquaintances and friends. But he always asked me for a certain song. He always wanted to hear "Man on the Silver Mountain."
Yes, which you do a great job of, which I actually saw today. I pulled a concert from 1992.
Wow.
And and there's like two parts of it, but you're doing there's a Pearl Jam song on there, which really surprised me, and then you do a Zeppelin song. Yeah,
I mean, as a working musician and writing, I also have a business that entertains three generations, and it's pretty incredible, and I'm pretty blessed and pretty lucky to have this run I'm having right now, because all the stuff I've been through, with I could say like addiction and cancer and just living life, and I'm clean living now, and I got a big season coming up. The summer season is just it's ridiculous. So I'm doing like 175 dates all summer, and some are like the younger crowd, some are older. So we'll change the music wherever we play. And luckily, I have the guys in the band who they have to know everything. They have to know thousands of songs.
Yeah.
And literally thousands, from every genre. We did a casino last week, and I was like Tom Jones. We did all that kind of stuff. From funk to Tom Jones, and all that kind of stuff. And the next night we played a rock club, which was like Dio, Who, Zeppelin, Bowie, Black Sabbath.
That's crazy.
So
That's
pretty
amazing.
diverse.
That is diverse. So as I mentioned to you last week when we were talking, didn't even realize I was at the Eagles game. They were playing the Bills. Playing the Bills, and that was my first time in Philly. My good friend Matt is a huge Eagles fan. So he said, "Do you want to come to the game?" He goes, "We're right at the tunnel. The tickets are $700. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, I hear Philly is the place to go watch a football game."
You got to experience there, right?
Yeah. So I had to go, and Philly won in overtime. This was like 2023.
Yeah.
Philly beat the Bills.
I was there, right? I was playing.
You were playing, and I didn't know that it was you playing. And I'm like, I see this band playing, and I was like, man, these guys are really good. So I filmed some of it, and then when we started speaking, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I look at the video, and I was like, oh, I wish I had known, because I would have came and introduced myself and said,
oh, yeah, that would have been great next time. But it's funny you said that, because, I'll walk around, I'll talk to everybody. I mean, I've done that all my life. I'll go through the club, and I'll say hello to every person in the club, and thank them, and I guess that's part of my personality, and maybe that's why people keep coming. But at one of those games, at one of those tailgates, I saw a bunch of guys sitting with Eagles shirts on, and I walked up there. Oh, great! I go, where are you guys from? And they were from Canada. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And they were all Eagles fans. And it was amazing that you come all the way down here. Oh, we love the Eagles. We love the Eagles. So,
there's a lot of Eagles fans here, and
there's a lot of Eagles haters too.
Well, I mean, my buddy's a big Eagles fan, and I'm not going to tell you my football team because you may not want to talk to me after.
Dallas.
Yes.
Hey, look at Roger Staubach.
Well, exactly. That's just it. And the only reason I became a Dallas fan because of early '90s, because of that team, and I was young.
No, there's no denying, when you have a team, it's your team. There's people I know that are Dallas fans, and I respect it. But the cement head, typical Eagles fan is just so demented sometimes.
But you know what? I went there. And I like the colors, and I love the colors. So I spent quite a bit of money on like a hoodie and a coat to wear over the hoodie. No, of Philadelphia, because I love the color. And I have a couple Saquon Barkley jerseys, and I have a Randall Cunningham, because those guys to me are
Randall
amazing players. Randall was the man.
Yeah. I was just talking about him the other day. Underrated. Like some of the stuff that he pulled off was just. He was an amazing athlete. Very low key. You never hear him.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. I remember as a kid watching him on TV, and Buddy Ryan, the Buddy Ryan team, and and Keith.
I met all those guys.
Really?
Over the years. I've done events. Yeah, I've done a lot of charity events and I met all everybody you can think of. I mean, I was doing a tailgate. I guess it was when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and this guy wanted to sing, and his head was like this big, and I got a picture of him on my phone, and it was Kelsey's brother. Was it Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him, and he was gigantic.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
He was at the tailgate, and that's when the Eagles won that year.
Wow. How are the Phillies doing this year? I meant to look and see where they're sitting in the standings.
Well, you got Mr. Baseball, Don Mattingly, which was like my wife. My wife's like, Don Mattingly, who's that? I'm like, what? Right now they won last night, but the season is so long, and when something starts to go bad, the axe comes down on somebody, just like in any business.
Yeah. Well,
they take the blame.
I said to my wife, I said, next year we have to. I haven't been to see the Phillies. I've been to see the Eagles. And I've done a ton of ballparks, so I have to. I said next year we should go to Philly, and if you're playing somewhere while we're there,
Absolutely.
we'll come. We'd like to come and see you.
Baseball is to me is number one.
Yep.
Because I played baseball as a kid, and I have a big family. We all played baseball. It was like baseball was, and now I got Michelle, like a baseball fan, because she's like, this is so boring. I go, it's a thinking game. It's a mind game.
You think the same way I do. I'm a big baseball fan. My son played for a few years, and
right on.
Well, I took him all over the place. He was playing down, he played in Arizona and everything, and then he decided he didn't want to play anymore. So
I have a couple friends that their kids just got drafted.
Nice.
My one friend's name is Steve Bandura. His son is Scotty Bandura. He's a monster. He got drafted by the San Francisco Giants, and he's on the farm team, but he's hitting home runs. He's making the news every day. So hopefully they'll bring him up. But it's so competitive.
Yeah,
it's worse than music.
Oh, no kidding, right? Yeah. I mean, as I said, I'm a huge ball fan. So tell me, I mean, we're going to talk music in a second, but I am curious about Philadelphia in the 70s. Did I say it? About? I am curious to discuss. I'm not going to say it. What Philly was like in the 70s and the 80s as a sports fan.
Well, you had Steve Carlton, you had Mike Smith, Pete Rose. I mean, there's so many of them that have great stories. I mean, even down here, I have a bunch of like baseball signed by Larry Boa and all kinds of people.
Cool.
You know, up here in the shop, I have a lot of collectibles. You know, I have to get this place together because you know it's insane down here, as you see. It's
I
like,
love it.
You know, it's like, and I work so much with the band, so
Yeah.
there's a 1960. But yeah, I could talk baseball all day, you know, because you know, when I remember when they won the World Series, you know, and both of them, both World Series, and you know, it seems like time goes by so fast.
Absolutely,
You know?
it does.
I think, what was it, 2007 when they won the World Series?
Yep.
That's already 19 years. Jesus.
I know, it's crazy. We were, I mean, as Toronto, when Roy Halladay left and came to Philly, but you know what? We were happy for him because he wanted out of here because they weren't committed. They weren't going to be winning. And he went somewhere that he felt at home.
That damn Carter still gets on my nerves.
Joe Carter? Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. I remember.
I was driving to a gig.
Yeah.
It was me, Billy Childs, who was playing with me then,
Yeah.
Johnny D. My brother was in the car, and we were driving to this gig in Jersey. We had to do the gig. It was a rock club, and we were listening to the game, and then he hit that home run, and it was just quiet, and it was a horrible night that night. It was like, wow, it took the air out of everything.
I know, and it's the Blue Jays' 50th anniversary this year, so they have been playing that like crazy because, I mean, that is an iconic, probably the most iconic hit in Toronto baseball, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to give it up for the guy, man. You know, it's like, what's his name when he went to Dodgers? Remember, he hit
Kirk
the home run.
Gibson? Kirk
He
Gibson?
can hardly walk. What's his name?
Kirk Gibson? No.
Yes.
Yeah, Kirk
Yes.
Gibson. Yeah. Yeah. I know those are the iconic ones, but I mean, you felt bad, like as a human, I felt bad for Mitch Williams, of course, because he's the guy that gives up the home run, right?
I did a couple gigs with Mitch Williams, and there was dissension in the team with him. But Lenny's out of his mind. But you know, they were fighting a lot. But Mitch, he's a giant. I stood next to him at this gig we did at the Wells Fargo. It was like some kind of wing bowl that they used to have. They don't have it anymore because it was too messy.
Yeah.
People got too messed up. But yeah, he was a monster. He towered over me like a foot. And he you know, but
Wow.
these guys apparently didn't like each other. But Lenny is out of his mind, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was a great team. John Kruk was on that team too.
Yeah.
Aaron Dalton.
Yeah, I was friends with Dalton too, you know, and matter of fact, I got a couple of pictures with him, and you know, he come out to see me, and I loved him, man. He was a cool guy, and it's sad story.
Oh, very sad. I was actually watching a documentary on YouTube about them talking about those 6 players that they think that the stadium had something to do with their passing, with the turf.
Yes, I know all about that. And I believe that too, because you know, there's a lot of things we don't know about that aren't out in the open. But I definitely believe that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I played a game. I played a game at Veteran. I guess it was Veteran Stadium. Yeah, when I was still there. And out in the outfield where Lenny would play, all there was these gigantic stains of tobacco, because he would put a red man in. He would put a whole red man in, and he'd spit it everywhere.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
I bet was it sad when they tore it down?
Well, it was a big. It was to me, because I remember when it was built, and I was a kid when it was built. Like I was like 9 years old. I was at Connie Mack Stadium.
Well, I was going to ask you if you had ever been there. Yeah,
I was there when I was 2 or 3 or 4. You know, my parents took me. I don't remember, but you know, Shibe Field. That was that's in a different part of town now. It's all built up, but you know, when they took down the vet, you know, it was like this implosion. It was like, you know, it was a big deal. But you know, I know people who have like seats from it, and they sold all the stuff.
That's cool. I mean, those were those cookie cutter ballparks too, right? You know, the
And
multi-purpose.
they were monstrosities.
Yeah.
Now you see these parks, whether it's Arizona or San Francisco, or they're just amazing.
Yeah. They look like baseball parks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done 15 parks, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a few. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Baltimore. Yankee Stadium. I don't think there's a couple more, but I can't remember. But I've been to them, and it was always a great experience.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I started with
There's no one like the Philly fans when you go to other places. There's a lot more respect. Chicago, not as much, but
yeah.
when you're in Philly, the mentality is this Stone Age, crazy stuff. But I see these things on online, like these fights in these stadiums are crazy.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it.
I know. It's alcohol, but people are brutal.
Yeah, I know. It's to the next level almost, right?
I was at the Coliseum seeing, I think, the Raiders one time in about 1990 when a couple people were shot and some gang-related stuff in the stadium.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
They don't play anymore.
Wow. So you went to were they playing the Eagles?
No. It's just a game I went to. I don't even remember who was playing. I was in another world. I was in Tangier then. We were doing a record, and we were living out there, and everything was great. The record business was different then. There was a record business.
Yeah. Which we're going to talk about that because because I love that album, as I told you.
Yeah, that's a great recorded record.
But let's talk about Something in the Sunset, which is your latest song that was released back in February. Great song, amazing song, very, very prolific.
Thank you. That song came to me by a friend of mine. Said to me one day, she said, "Something in the Sunset," and I said, "What?" And I go, "That's a great name for a song." And then I have a guy named Mike Caruso who's been very successful in writing songs for a lot of people. He's had a couple of hits, and he grew up with my brother. And I said, "I got this thing, going Something in the Sunset," and we worked on it last summer over the phone. I had piano in my house down the shore, and we write. And then eventually, it took this turn and that turn and this turn. And when you write a song, if you're really a crafter, it's not like, okay, the song's done. We would work on it and get better. And when we got it to that point, and what kind of song is this? Like, we write every kind of music, every kind of genre. We'll write a country song, we'll write an R&B song, we'll write a heavy song. That's what we do. But with that song, my brother had just passed away last May, a year ago, and it was sort of inspired by him, because when you sit in the sunset, it's very. There's a lot of solace. You just, you can think about anything, good and bad, but you're just sitting there looking at the sun, and I wanted to get this sound like I had this idea like Jimmy Webb, lineman for the county.
Yep.
That guitar in there, that tenor guitar.
Yeah.
And I had that idea, and then we worked on it. I got some strings in there, and it turned out the way it did, and people love the song.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. So will this coincide with more material coming then? Is there going to be an album maybe?
Yes, that was a single release, but we have so many things on the table. I have a bunch myself, and I have a bunch of co-writes. Now I'm working with this producer, engineer, Grammy-winning producer, Ian Cross, who's just an amazing guy to work with. And, it's really exciting because, his past speaks for itself, all the stuff that he has done. I mean, he's got Grammys, and,
That's amazing.
I know they're just awards, but he knows his stuff. And to watch someone work like that is just amazing because, I worked with Andy Johns, John Purdell, a bunch of other producers over the years, and they were all great. But it's a new method now of recording, the Pro Tools and what you can do, how you can dissect a track and move this around, move that around. It's amazing technology.
Yeah. Yeah, it is unreal.
But it sounds like a classic song. It has it has a good sound. the fidelity of it sounds great, you know.
I always find a lot of your stuff has great fidelity from what I've listened to.
Yeah, it's getting better. I mean, I record my bass and I have a studio here, and I'm not the best engineer, but then I'll pay an engineer to come over and do it, and then I met Ian on this whim. I met this guy, and he just like, I was meant to be here. I was meant to meet you, and it's a really strange thing, but it's really really exciting, you know.
That's awesome.
Because you know. He's like almost like a family member now. We bonded, you know, and it's really exciting.
That's awesome. Now, the Unplugged album that you did, the acoustic Unplugged album, that version of Stranded that is on there, did you do that in your studio?
No, that was live.
That was live. Okay.
Yeah, that was live, and we mixed that record at a famous place called Sigma Sound, where Bowie did Young Americans.
Wow.
So I was it's not there anymore, but, you know, it was the Philly sound. Like all the bands that came out of Philly, like the Spinners, the OJs, they all recorded there. Stevie Wonder, you know, Teddy Pendergrass. So this studio had amazing stories, you know. Bowie, of course, when I was a kid, I remember him recording there in 74. And, you know, so it was kind of cool to go mix it there. And we mixed it there. And it was amazing because, you know, when I listen to it even now, I'm like, man, that's just a good recording. And there's a couple covers on there, How Many Friends from The Who, and people love that stuff. And it just ended up being good. And that's when it was still tape machines.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, which I love.
I mean, there was Pro Tools, but we did it on tape.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I played the material. I played Stranded for my wife, and everybody loves that song in this house. My 11-year-old stepdaughter sings Stranded, which is great. Wow. She knows all the words. And yep, no worries. Oh, I love that guitar, man.
Anybody here now, little baby?
I love it. I love that guitar, Mike. That is a Gibson. Oh,
I have a, as you can see here, I'll take you around here and show you a few things. You know, there's guitars. This is coming down the steps. There's guitars, basses, guitars, Rickenbacker, a 12-string Gretsch. You know, the Electro. This you know, another Rickenbacker, a Gretsch, this Les Paul, G, Telly, Strat, Telly, Gibson over there, and you know, there's so many cool guitars I have.
So many. Is that a Hohner bass?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah. My God, that's crazy.
And so I use them on different tracks, and you know,
yeah,
I try to replicate, you know, different kind of sounds, and you know, a lot of stuff I'm doing now is kind of organic. Like this last song I cut, it was like, it's called "River in the Sky," and me and my friend Mike Caruso wrote it, and it's a strange kind of song, but you know, the chorus, it's real fast. We started it as a ballad. But it started out as, you know, a ballad, but it turned in, take me back to the place where the dirt had all the diamonds and the honeysuckles hung low from the vine. Take me back to the place where the road led to the highlands before the road attracted the blue from the sky. Take me back to the place where the road.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so
and the
cool,
verse,
man.
It's about, we didn't really know what we were going to write about, but it's about times change, you know. I recall when I was young, walking on the tracks, the old show coming on. But the decades, and took the waterfalls away. They paved all the meadows. No innocent was saved. I never dreamed a change to come. And it is, I'm in a world I don't belong. So many friends have passed. My country has crashed. Compassion and kindness have run astray. Take me back to the place where the dead held all the diamonds. It's a knee slapper, you know.
That's so good.
I got accordion on there, fiddle on there, piano, banjo, guitars, drums, you know, you name it is on that track. So we're dissecting that now because Ian came in. I met him after I did the initial recording, and he goes, "Oh, I got to fix this," you know, and it was no easy task because some things might be a little bit out of time, and he's a perfectionist, so, you know, it's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that
song. That's a really good song.
I'll send you that. I'll send you that when it's done. I have a demo of it I could send you, but I like to wait till it's completely done.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. No, that's cool. I can't wait.
And you never know. You never know where a song can be placed, and that's a big thing with being a songwriter. You know, you know, I'm pretty content in my job, and I have a great gig, and I have a great audience and a great following. But you know, one big song can make a big difference these days. You know,
yeah.
Whether it's in a TV show or a movie or just goes viral. You know, and it's still possible. So I still have that belief that, you know. This is a song by Mick Ronson and Ian Hunter called "You're Never Too Small to Hit the Big Time." And, you know, people would come up to me and ask me, are you still doing this? And you know, I'm still doing it. Are you still a plumber? You know, yeah, that's what I do, you know. So I'm having this run right now that is incredible. Like every night is a full house, and, you know, it's a good living.
Yeah, I noticed. I looked at your dates today and this coming weekend. Your Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think Sunday. I can't remember exactly. There was a lot of dates filled.
Yeah. We do doubles on Sunday. We do one short point. Then I got a great crew. They go set up at the next one, and within 2 hours, we're doing a show in this up the coast a little bit, like 30 miles, where it's a whole nother crowd of young kids that really appreciate us. I mean, they like the old stuff. They like the Aerosmith, you know, like the Queen, and it's really, really amazing because there's so much alternative music out there besides hip hop and all that stuff, and you know that kind of rules the airwaves. But this place, they think it's really it's overwhelming because, you know, I can, it's flattering in a way, but it gets anxiety too because you walk down the street and people are like, yo, take a picture. You know, you're friends with my parents love you, my grandparents love you. So it's kind of sweet, you know.
That's awesome.
I take it as a compliment.
That's amazing. When did you start playing music? How old were you? And
I was about 15 and I played drums in a band. My brother was a very successful drummer who lived in California he passed away about 7 years ago. He was an accomplished drummer. He played with a lot of huge people, from Madonna to Stevie Wonder to everybody. You know, he was in LA. He was a session player. He played on records. He toured, and he got aggressive cancer that took him out pretty fast within a year and a half.
You hear that, man?
Yeah, and I flew out to see him, and he had passed away the next day after I saw him. But he was a left-handed drummer, and he was known in the Philly area like, oh, Jack LeCompt is the best. You're Jack's brother. You look just like him, blah, 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 blah. So when Jack went to California, I got some of these gigs, like playing drums in a wedding band. I was already playing like a couple instruments, guitar, piano. I never really sang ever. And, you know, I wasn't a singer. I was more like and my roots were like, I'm one of 8, so I'm the second youngest of 8. So you can imagine, you know, my oldest sister would be 80 if she was living. So we all listened to music in our house. So everything you can think of, I heard, you know, from R&B to Elvis, you know, Sinatra, Supremes, Bowie. You know, when I was a kid, I saw Bowie when I was 13, and that was a big deal for me. That changed my life. And then I got into more guitar. I was like a Jeff Beck fanatic. I met Jeff Beck one time, and you know, so it progressed. And I always had a wide range of appreciating what kind of music was, because I could learn something from it. You know.
Yeah.
There's people who are like, I hate that. Well, let me listen to it. You know.
Yeah.
Because as you know, there's a lot of critics out there.
That is true.
People love to be
true.
People love to be critics.
That's very true. Now tell me about, now there's a song called Just Like You on that Unplugged album. And I couldn't find that on another album. What is that from? That is an amazing song.
Don't wanna talk anymore. What's done is done, and we can't change it. I wrote that with my friend Michael Caruso, who I'm working with now. I've always been working with. He has had some major success. Vanessa Williams and a bunch of other people, Joan Jett, just a lot of people. Vixen, he wrote one of their hit songs or whatever. But we wrote that when he was visiting. You know, he had like publishing deals, and he would visit, and he was in a band with my older brother. So he's some years older than me, but you know, we have the same roots and everything. So we wrote that, and I never put it on a record till lately. It is on the new release I released 2 years ago. Songs from the it's on Spotify. Songs that were collecting dust, and there's a recorded version of that produced. You know, but I do like the unplugged version better. You know, it's just the way when you work with some producers, you give them the upper hand to say, okay, let's try this. And I'm pretty easy. Okay. And, you know, it's such an old song. It's 35 years old, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That's such a good song.
Yeah, a lot of people like that song. And I'm even thinking about maybe even cutting it again with my friend Ian, because, you know, I think it could flow better. But that was a nice song. I think that was inspired by something like The Flame, you know?
Yeah.
Has that kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Like, I was mentioning, that's a great song.
Yeah, they didn't write that song. How about
I know that. Yeah, I can't remember. Do you remember who wrote that song?
2 guys wrote it, songwriters, God bless them.
Yeah,
you know?
That's such a great, I heard that the other day.
I'm a big fan of Cheap Trick,
I am
Robinson.
too.
Jesus. The guys are incredible.
I know, and they just keep going and putting out good albums.
I just watched a video today. But I think he's one of the coolest guys, and he seems to be so down to earth. And when I was about 21, I went up to Woodstock with my friend George, who was an engineer there, a friend of my older brother. He's going now too, but. He was engineering or assistant engineering a session with Cheap Trick, and he's like, "You want to come over?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I experienced it. Robin Zender came in, and he didn't even warm up. He got on the mic and just blew it out. I was like, "Holy smokes!" You know, like, and I wasn't accomplished singer then. I really didn't sing much until I was in a band where we needed a singer, and we couldn't find a singer. I said, "Hell with this! I'll just sing," and you know, over and over again. I'm still not a great singer, but I'm learning. You know, it's a learning process.
Well, you know what? I was mentioning my wife heard the Unplugged and heard the version of Stranded, and she goes, "I think I actually even like that one better."
Wow! Thank you. Thank her. What's her name?
Her name is Gwen. Her name's Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen.
Yes, I will tell her you thanked her. She's still at school. She's a school teacher as well. And her and I play together, and we're actually talking about we're going to add that song to our acoustic.
I would be, you know, that's so awesome. I mean, it's so awesome that, you know, I look back and you try to get in touch with me about
5-6 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I was battling cancer then, and I was, you know, it was a pretty hard fight. You know, I was in the hospital for 3 months. It's a long story, but you know, I'm here for a reason. And
thank God.
You know, I lost 3 siblings from cancer, and it's tough, man. You know, it's a horrible disease. Wish I could do something about it.
Yeah, but no kidding.
Like I'm here, so every day is a blessing, and very grateful.
Well, I'm very glad that we finally got to talk.
Yeah, because it's funny because you know, I looked at the DMs and oh my God, you know, he tried to contact me years ago, and I tried to and he never.
Well, it's funny because of that Philly book. I had Johnny D on last week, and Johnny,
he's great.
Oh, he's amazing! What a great guy, and
he's a sweet guy. I love Johnny. He played with me for about 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, Johnny he was a great, we had a great time, a great interview. So I told him that you and I were going to speak. I said, I reached out to Mike and some of the conversation was about that Philly book. And there isn't enough Tangier in there. I'm not going to lie. And and you were playing in Philadelphia at that time too, were you not?
Yeah, well, like any city, there's a clique. And there's, in Philly, there's different pockets of different people who are more pronounced. The radio backs them more, and there's a lot of, in my mind, like Cinderella was from Philly,
yeah.
And they never got their due play like some other bands that were pushed that I love too, like the Hooters. I love all these guys, but they were backed more by radio,
Yeah.
And it's just the way things happen, people back you better, and they're friends of mine too, and God bless them, and they're still doing it. But when a book comes out like that, there's always some great person. I know great people in Philly that were influences me, like the American Dream. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Well, look them up. American Dream was banned in like 1968, 69, 70. They had a song out, You Can't Get to Heaven on the Frankfurt L, and they did some big things, like big concert festivals, but something happened and they disbanded. And there was a band like the A's, a band called the A's, which I was a big fan of. I opened up for like in 1980, who are there's a couple guys that have passed, but they're still great. Their songs were great. So you get a chance to look up the A's.
Yeah, I'll look it all up. I mean, thank you very much.
They had a song called "Woman's Got the Power" that was after a couple records, but it was a big song. I think a lot of people covered it, but if you look it up, it was great.
That's awesome.
I'm a big fan.
Is that how you ended up in Tangier? Was you had been playing in Philly?
What happened with that was, like we were talking about earlier, when something doesn't go right. I knew the old singer in Tangier. I was a fan of Bill Mattson. What a great guy, a great singer. And what happens is they did a record, and they went on the road with Cinderella, and this transpired, that transpired, and then it was sort of like, okay, we got to get a younger guy or a showman or something like that. And that was their thinking at the time. And I was just in the right place with Tom. I knew Tom Kiefer, and Tom Kiefer was a big part of me getting the job. He said, yeah, because I played guitar and I played piano and I sang, and I got the gig. But it was a great record, a great experience. We did a bunch of festivals. I toured for 3 months with the Winger and Extreme, and we did a bunch of other shows and Cinderella and this and that. But right then, as that was happening, as you know, music changed. The grunge came in and wiped out everything.
Yeah, I know.
And it's hard to think about now because these guys were rock and rollers too. But it was this vibe that they had. It was dark. There was no big hair. There was no. It was too deep and heavy, but now they're married to supermodels, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a time. That's all I'm going to say about it. It was a time.
And look, I love Soundgarden. I love a lot of these bands.
Yeah.
Inspired stuff, and I'm a fan of like Eddie Vedder. I appreciate him when he's great and great singer, great songwriter.
Yeah.
And like I said, I kind of have a lot of influences,
Yeah.
Not just the Beatles and Zeppelin and the Stones. There's all these other obscure singer-songwriters from Carole King to, on. It's like, it's all the time.
Huge spectrum.
Yeah.
What was it? Actually, Tangier, that was my very first concert, was Tangier before you were in the band with the first with Bill.
Bill's great.
Oh, they were, you know what? It was funny. I hadn't heard the album. I had just heard On the Line on the radio.
Yeah.
And
we covered that. I had to learn that, and we did that. But his voice was just amazing, man.
Yeah.
And I still talk to him. He's a great guy, I could see how he was hurt by what happened, and anybody would be hurt like that,
Yeah, I didn't realize that's how that all went down. I didn't realize that. I thought...
I was just... there at the right time, and they were auditioning singers. They were doing a new record, and it was a strange story to happen. It's funny little thing happened. At that same time, I got this management in New York who were big shots. They managed a lot of big people. And as I started pre-production for the band for doing the record, it was at a studio rehearsal place in Philly with producer Sean Purdell and Dwayne Barron, who Sean Purdell, he wrote No More Tears.
Right.
And he did a lot. He did like Poison Records, and he did a lot of stuff.
Worked for Tom Warman, right? Those two worked for Warman, right?
Absolutely. And really talented guy with the Pro Tools. They were just new to the world at that point, but they were up on them. And what happened was I got sidetracked by this management company. They said, look, we want to sign you. We want to go give you this or that. So as we were doing the pre-production for the record, I went in and told them one day, I got to tell you guys something. And the management was there, and they were all there, the band. I go, I'm not doing it. And they flipped out.
No way.
The manager said, you'll never work in this business again. And then I thought about it, and I talked to the management company. I said, you know what? I really like to do this record. And they were cool with it. And that ever didn't transpire into anything anyway. You know, you're willing to do anything at that time when people present stuff like that to you. And grandiose, so like, oh my God, they know this, they know that, and I'm going to have a record, my own record. But I'm glad I did the Tangier experience because I got to do the record. Great musicians, a great sounding record, great studio, a great tour. And then after that, we could have did another record, but Doug Gordon, who was the main songwriter, and basically his band, sort of like, got a little disgusted and down by the business that was going on, how hard it was to, what happened. Yeah. It was boom. And now the resurrection of these bands is great. I love it that they're doing these tours and bands can tour, but for 10 years, it was nothing but grunge.
Yes, I remember. It was hard, man. It was hard as a fan of that era going into that. And it's like, what do you mean you're wiping out every other band? Like, why?
It was really strange what happened, and it happens every now and then, when the Beatles came and knocked Elvis off the charts,
Right.
Like, man, they bring pride over here, It was just strange how this, rolls into this. It keeps on rolling. Then you got the hip hop and the rap and everything else, which I appreciate that. I love Eminem, big fan, and I kind of get something out of everything. But I'm glad that I stayed with what I'm doing, and people come out and ask me for these Tangier songs. I'll do Caution to the Wind,
which you do a great job of. I've heard that. I mean, that's on that acoustic, and that sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's a great song, and that's a high song to sing too. So, I've got to keep my pipes up all the time.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh,
what's the weather like up there?
It is hot, but tomorrow it's supposed to go back down about 10 degrees. So it's been beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be cool this weekend. Memorial Day weekend. I'm down at the Jersey Shore, 3 different shore points, and so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, oh, that sounds amazing.
Overwhelmed. Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask you as well. So when you joined the band, was it just the 3 guys were still in the band? Like
it was, yes, it was. There was another guitar player, Gary Saint, who had passed away, and they because I played guitar, they I could play guitar and sing. So
that's such a great riff.
That was co-written. That song was co-written by a guy named Jim Peterick. Have you ever heard of him?
It rings a bell.
Well, Jim Peterick, when he was 17, wrote and produced Vehicle. I'm Your Vehicle, Baby.
Oh, okay.
Then he went on to write all the songs for Survivor. He's written Hold On Loosely. He's written a lot of stuff.
Okay, so he did a 38 special.
Look him up, Jim Peterick. He's amazing.
Well, there it is. There's the...
Yeah. Wow, you got the vinyl.
I got the vinyl from Europe, yeah.
Do you have a turntable?
Yes. I listen to this quite often, actually.
Can you hear the fidelity in it?
Pardon me?
The fidelity compared to a CD?
Oh, that is one of my favorite sounding albums.
Me
is,
too.
It is such a great sounding album.
You know, I have people that say that to me all the time, and I was like, man, I was blessed to have that experience in that studio. It was a studio called Devonshire, where Billy Joel recorded like Turnstiles. You know, Dolly Parton was recording there, Van Morrison. Like it goes on. I don't even know if it's there anymore because studios can be in a closet now. You know,
I know. Those are amazing. Well, Johnny D was talking about them recording in Wales.
Yeah.
For the Last Staccato album, and he talked about this amazing studio, and he had been there with Wasted back in the 80s.
Wow.
And I was so happy to hear that they were recording at a...
Yeah, and they they record real drums in a big drum room like old school, but they do it digitally. But nevertheless, it's still like miking techniques and sound of rooms. Yeah.
Exactly, which is what I love, and that album sonically, I'm sure all that album was done on tape, on 2-inch tape.
It was done on two 24-track digital tape machines, so they could work with Pro Tools at the same time they were doing it. This guy Dwayne Perel was a forerunner in the Pro Tools.
That's what you're saying.
Like this is 1990, and it was like, what is this going on with this computer stuff? And digital tape, they could take stuff out and they could fix it and this and that, and it was really the quality of that record is just like the drum sound, the guitar sounds.
Crazy how good it is, and the separation on it. Listening to that on the vinyl, the separation of the guitars and the vocals and everything, it separates so well.
When I was recording, when I was in the studio, I was out there for so long, and I was recording. I was in the vocal booth for like about 4 hours one time, and I saw people in the control room. And I know Tom Kiefer would come by sometimes, but one time I said, "Man, I'm going to go in there," and I went into the control room, and it was Ozzy and his wife, and he just said, "Sounds great, mate." That's what he said. But he ended up using the producers, John Purdell, and John Purdell co-wrote "No More Tears."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Zach Wilde was around, I went to his house.
Really, eh? Wow. Because he's from Jersey too, right? Like he's from the area, right? He's from Jersey.
Yeah. He was a skinny little guy, a kid.
Yeah.
But he was great.
That's wild.
He was great.
Do you recall the video for Stranded? Because I watched that today. That is a great video. Pamela Anderson's in it.
That was another experience for me that was, I was like, it was like rock star stuff. It's like we're going to the desert for a couple of days to do this video with this producer, the guy who did The Kids Are All Right. He did that movie. I think his name was Jeff Steen, and he did Don't Come Around Here No More. That video.
Yep.
And so it was exciting. I was learning all this stuff on the way, but I could see where money was budgeted. Like it was so much money to do that video.
Yeah.
They had 100 people working in the desert. Like, we were there, and Pam Anderson, of course, was in the video, and it was exciting. And, I got to see, how they do this stuff, but it ended soon after that, tour.
I like how they did the video though. Like how they, you're stranded in the desert and then
it was funny. It was funny because I didn't know the concept at all. I did how they shoot it. They're shooting this, shoot that, shoot this, shoot this. And they were doing this bus. They had another bus, and they made a bus look old, and they were shooting her, and they put it together, and I guess they did it pretty fast, but it was a pretty big budget for that video, but which is unheard of today.
Well, that stage they had there was insane, and
that was where they did Rambo, the movie. A lot of scenes from Rambo.
Oh, okay, that stage was cool. And the funny thing was, you guys hauling the stuff out of the bus. I was like, there's no road crew, and you guys set everything up and.
Well, there was a funny story about that because we were filming on the bus and we were going around this cliff, and we had to do it a couple of times. The bus driver backed up and backed the bus off the cliff, like we were hanging off the cliff.
Oh my God!
And like nobody could move in the bus, and I said, "Damn, I'm getting out there." And we ended up jumping off the bus. The bus was saved, but the driver he had to go home because he was losing his mind. Yeah, I remember that much about it. We were there for about a day and a half, and it was cool. It was a funny story because when I was about to do that, I was humbled in a few ways because I was outside the Hyatt in Hollywood, which was a major rock place, Almost Famous. They do all that,
Yeah.
That scenes from there. That was the rock place. Keith Moon had thrown the TVs out the window there, drove the car in the pool.
Yeah.
A lot of stories behind it. But I was standing outside one day, and I was all rocked out in rock clothes. And I was waiting for a driver to come, and there was a guy standing next to me, and he was older than me. He had a handful of tapes. It looked like reel to real stuff. And I go, in a band? He goes, yeah. And he said the name of the band. I said, never heard of it, but good luck. I go, what are you doing? He goes, we're looking for a producer. Do it. And he said to the producers, I go, oh, them guys are doing our record right now. And he mentioned Andy Johns and a couple other people. And I knew Andy pretty well, and I guess it was the guy's ego, or he had to set me right. He said to me, I was in a band though. I go, yeah, that's cool. I go, what were they called? He said Boston. I go, what did you do? He goes, I was a singer.
No. So it was Brad Delp?
Yeah.
Wow.
That happened a few times like that. I was like, wow, I'm not worthy, like Brad Delp. Jeez.
That's crazy.
That was a sad story too. But yeah, I talked to him for a couple of minutes, and then after I knew that, I'm like, Jesus, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your expression of what I was the singer in Boston, and you're just probably kind of looking like, what?
Well, he said the name of the band. Remember they had RTZ, Return to Zero?
Yeah.
That was the band. I hadn't heard of it at the time, and because they did have a single out, and of course anything he sang on was amazing.
Yeah.
And the guy was an unbelievable singer. And when he said that, I guess he just had to say for himself, I was in another band, and I said, what band was that? And when he said Boston, I went, oh. I thought, well, did you play bass or something? He goes, no, I was a singer. Man. I said, Brad Delp, Jesus.
That's crazy. That's a crazy story. Now, do you remember the photo shoot for the album cover?
Yes, we did a bunch of them with Neil Zolzauer and Ross Halfin. I think Ross Halfin, we did a lot of photo shoots with different photographers. I mean, that was part of the budget and the part of the way that these record companies allocated money and people got kickbacks, whatever,
Yeah.
It's the story of the world,
Yeah.
You get this much money, and okay, you're going to use this photographer who's world renowned. Ross Halfin.
Yep.
Ever heard of him?
Yep. He was one of the big. Ross Halfin and Niels Losler were the two big guys, right, in the 80s.
Yes, they did everybody, and they were amazing guys, and they shot people. But there were other photographers, of course, that were huge too. Mick Rock and all that.
Mick Rock, Krang, yeah, that's right.
I would love to have a shoot with him because of course he did the Bowie stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool. Do you remember? I have, and I meant to grab this to show you. Somebody gave me one of those rock cards not too long ago.
Oh, wait, I got one here.
You have one?
Yes. And it's a funny story about this, too. Here it is here.
Oh, that's yours. Cool.
Someone gave it to me in a class, and with the day they gave it, not this person won, someone else sent this to me. But what happened was we were playing St. Louis, a theater in St. Louis. It was the first of the tour. And, it was pretty exciting for me because, I was in club bands all my life. And, I've never been on like a tour this big. And we got there, and this is a crazy story, but it's true. What happened was we got off the bus and we walked in, and this kid said, hey, sign my card. And I looked at it and I ran away from him. And someone said, hey, go sign a kid's card. I go, where do you get that at? And that was something else that was, money was allocated to the band from Rock'em, and I went out and signed the card. Then I had learned about, okay, I'm just a singer. I'm part of the band, but I'm not the owner of the band, whatever. So we did that concert, and it was us, it was Extreme, and it was Winger. So what happened was we went on, and it was Doug's birthday, and we had a big birthday cake. It was like this big, and they came out and we sang happy birthday to him. So I said to Tech, his name was Bobby Mack, and he has passed away too, but he's done everybody from Ingve to you name it. He's done everybody.
Yeah.
He passed away a few years ago. He was a good friend of mine, and after we sang happy birthday, I said to him, throw the cake in the crowd. He goes, what? I go, throw the fucking cake in the crowd. So he threw the cake in the crowd. So the rest of our set, extreme set and winter set, you know what happened? Cake back up on stage.
Oh,
so
no.
after the concert, there was a big meeting with the management, and my guy grabbed me and goes, we're fired off the tour. I go, it's the first set. What kind of pussy guys are these? You know, this is rock and roll. So I got backstage, and there was like management, there was crew, there was the band members, there was all of them, and they were all just like, you little asshole, you know. And I was just like humbled, and I said, and you know, of course, I'm sober now, but when I was sober then too, and I came from a pretty tough neighborhood and a fighting family, and I grew up in that because I've seen some crazy stuff, you know, in my life, and been in some crazy situations. I'll tell you about another time, but I have some great stories. But after they all got yelling at me, I said, "Can I say something?" And they, yeah, say something. And I go, "Look, man, this is my first tour. I'm a fan of you guys. I'm not worthy of it. And I'm really sorry. I just, you know, it was just spur of the moment, throw the cake in the crowd. I thought it was funny. And saying that, I'll fight any motherfucker here." And some big roadie stood up and said, I got him. And I was ready for him. I know how to take him down, you know.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what to do. And Winger said, stop. I like this guy.
Really? Wow.
And we did the rest of the tour. But after that, they played a couple pranks on me, threw me in a pool a couple times, and this and that, whatever. But
So it all worked out.
That was pretty scary that first night, and you know, I didn't know, like it's rock and roll, right? Anything goes. But apparently, it wasn't. Weir couldn't do his spins, and you know, and there was Cake and Rod Morgan stage drums, and you know.
Oh man, really?
Yeah. Cake came back on stage.
That's quite the bill, though. Extreme Winter and Tangier. I mean, I wish. Yeah. Did you guys come up here, up to Canada with that? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's what's I've been to Canada before that, and I always like Canada, you know, and a beautiful country. And I've been to the Falls a few times, and it's kind of seedy around there.
The Falls?
Like the towns on each side of it.
Yeah, it's seedy. Yeah, it's a little, it's different.
It's not what you expect, you know, but
no.
the Falls are magnificent.
Yeah, as long as you don't go over. I don't think
I get that thought. All I got to do is jump over, you know. I get that at high places too. Yeah. Very easy to just jump off here.
Exactly. Now, was there ever talk of another single besides Stranded? Were they going to release another such single?
Yes. They were to release. I think it was Since You've Been Gone.
I was going to say, I bet that was
maybe it was Caution to the Wind, but at that point there was so much dissension in the business and the record company, and there was corners being cut, and you know, I saw it happening, and I didn't really know what was happening, but I did see, like, I was on a tour bus and I was reading Rolling Stone magazine, and I said, look at this band. Look at after they get done the set, they go backstage and have a meeting with a shrink and throw a ball at each other and talk to each other. I'm like, what? That's not rock and roll.
Oh my!
You know, where's the blues, where are the girls on it? But it was Pearl Jam.
Oh,
so they were pretty deep and heavy, you know.
And they're still going.
Yeah,
maybe that was why.
Yeah.
Therapy really helped them. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
but good. You know, try doing that to the Who or the Stones, or you know.
Yeah, exactly. Now that LeCompt CD with Billy Childs and Rick Cornetti, that was after Tangier, was it?
I recorded some of the songs before Tangier.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then when I came back, I released it, and we were doing some showcases, and this is like '92, and we're still doing showcases, and there were still like these A&R guys that were interested. So there was still a ray of hope, but there really was no ray of hope.
That's great material, though. It really is
Yeah,
a good CD.
unless you had crossed over with some kind of big hit, bands like the Outfield were coming out and who weren't necessarily grunge, but they were more pop rock,
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a weird time.
Yeah. We lived through it, and I'm glad I lived through it because I had some struggles throughout my life with addiction, and thank God that I am sober now.
Good for you, man.
I've been sober a long time, but that's why I'm here talking to you, because if I wasn't, I might be dead.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you were able to make it. We were able to do the interview. Was there any Tangier songs that were recorded that were never released?
Yes. Matter of fact, there's been talk lately. I've been talking with Gary Nutt, and Doug had a business, and he has just built a studio, and Gary says, he's writing, and look at. I'm willing to do these boat tours, these rock cruises they have. All these other bands are doing them. Why don't we just do one, Yeah. But, if one person doesn't agree, and I love Doug, and maybe he changed his mind, but I would love to do it, That
would be cool.
I mean, me, Gary, Bobby, and Doug are healthy enough to do it.
Well, you guys, Tangier's one of those bands that has never come back, really.
Right.
So
yes, that's because
people would love that.
I mean, I have a lot of people who ask me all the time, and Gary, he's into it 100%, and Doug might be on the fence now. I'm not sure where Bobby is, but nevertheless, we could do it, and it would be we could sell out some places, especially in the tri-state area, and we could get on some kind of tour with somebody, or do one of these festivals, or the M3 or whatever that thing is.
M3, yeah, which would be amazing. That would be so cool.
Because, as you know, a lot of those bands don't play. They don't get to play as much because, the audience is older, and they have kids and grandkids, but there's still a loyalty to a lot of bands. It's like us seeing a band that we grew up with. Sure, I'd like to see them, see what they do,
Yeah.
Some people don't make the mark, but at least they're doing it. Like I was watching. Now, I don't like to be a critic, but I was watching David Lee Roth.
You don't need to say anymore.
He's a funny guy.
He's a hilarious guy.
He's always got that. It's amazing some of the stuff, because I just saw him play this guitar, and he was doing this. It was silly, but he's David Lee Roth. He was one of the greatest at one time.
Oh, he was, so iconic, right?
Yeah.
For a long time. Even when he went solo for those first couple albums, he was still a huge
Diamond
draw.
Dave, he had the lingo. He spit it out like that. It was like vaudeville for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's a little eccentric, a little thrown out, but he's at a theater near me like 2 nights from now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you going to go?
No, I'm working.
Oh, you're working, right?
Yeah, I work. I don't get to see many concerts because we work so much.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. But working 5 gigs this week, then the summer schedule will start, which is 6 and 7 gigs a week, and I got to take care of my voice, and and I got to work out and stay on track. So
good for you, man.
The older you get, you feel it.
I'm so glad that you're still doing it.
But I believe the best is yet to come, and it's like I have I'm around a lot of young people, and they appreciate the music. People come up to me. I have this song called "Stealing Time," which these kids love. They help me spread it on the internet, and I don't know if you heard it. It's on that last record. It's on Spotify. Songs from the Attic. There's a couple cool songs on there. A song called "Baby." This thing we had. Yeah, go on to Spotify and check them out. Let me know what you think of them.
It didn't. You see, I used Deezer, so that album didn't come up on Deezer, which is funny.
No.
There's a bunch of other, a lot of them are on there, but that one's not on Deezer, so I was not familiar with it.
Yeah. I'm not the best at social media and spreading it, but that's how you have to have someone in your corner that's doing that. And I'm getting a few people now that help me do that, because that's all it's about. These bands are being signed now. I know people who own labels. So yeah, I got to text Johnny and tell him I talked to you.
Yes, absolutely. Johnny was, like I said, he was amazing. So
Johnny was, you know, when he got in my band, it was like, you know, these guys were rock stars, you know.
yeah,
And what we did was something different from a lot of the other players that were in the 80s and early 90s that didn't go on to do a craft. Like as soon as Tangier ended, I came right back and put the band together and made money, you know?
yeah,
And no matter what I covered, from Elton John to Billy Joel to Bowie, I did it. Folk stuff, America, everything. I just did a wide range of stuff. So, you know, I created a following in this area and merchandise and sold CDs. And now it's no more CDs, it's downloads. You know, it's like streaming, which is...
I mean, I miss the physical as a record guy. I mean, I'm glad bands are putting out records again. You know, like I'm glad the vinyl thing is going.
Absolutely. And it's coming back to, I've been thinking about pressing up some vinyl because I sell a lot of merch in the summer, and t-shirts and hats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sweatshirts. So I'm sure these kids would buy, like, I'm thinking about these little, you know, download things, you know.
Yep.
We put them in, make like a logo on it and sell that. And if they get that, they get a shirt and whatever. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about the future.
Where can you buy a shirt? On your website?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Because I might.
Yeah, I'll send you one. I'll get your info. I'll send you one. I got a bunch of stuff. I have so much stuff in this house, you know, as you can see, even over there, those guitars.
There's even more. Oh my God.
I don't know how many I have, but I have a lot of them. I only need one really good guitar here. This is my bathroom. I got some cool stuff in here.
In the bathroom.
Even a guitar.
Better. Oh, wow, man. Oh, there's your vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have one.
I got some cool stuff in here. It's like, you know, and I got a couple different projects going. I got this thing called FYM. It's very heavy stuff. It's called between like Metallica and Pantera and my own thoughts. Me and this guy, Buddy Cash, that was in my band for a while. Cool. And he's in Arizona now. But we have written a lot of songs that were really great. I'll have to get them to you. You know,
yeah, that would be cool.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of Tangier stuff?
I got some CDs and some like there's pictures from the shoot. Like I have like that picture that's not.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, there's something that I can dig up. Like I got in this back room. I got, as you can see, I have so much stuff.
Wow,
like
Mike.
All those CDs and it's overwhelming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
it's gear, and I got a whole garage full of stuff. It's like you don't need it. I like to liquidate a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
Some shirt someone sent me.
That's a cool shirt. That one's cool. I mean, did they ever do, like back in the day, the big cardboard cutout of the album or anything?
Yes.
Really, eh?
Matter of fact, last year I was playing down the shore and I saw on TikTok these girls had a life-size cutout of me. Young kids, you know, like 22, 23.
Wow.
And it's just like, I was like, what the hell?
That's
cool.
Know?
And they came to a gig and they made me sign it. And it was I was pretty flattered, you know.
Yeah.
So I got the young crowd, and that's good. And they do research, and they come up to me, man, you made a video with Pam Anderson? I go, yeah, PG, but I made a video with her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, like in that video, she's asleep at the wheel at the end, and she misses the band playing beside a rock.
She was very nice at the time. She was just really making it. You know, I don't think she was even on Baywatch yet.
Was she on Tool Time then? On Home Improvement, maybe?
I think she might have been, or just getting that gig. I know she was on Playboy.
Yeah.
On the cover of Playboy.
Wow. That's crazy. It's amazing. And on Wikipedia, that's what comes up when you punch up that song.
Really?
Pam Anderson was in the video. Yeah.
Wow.
I think not under the song, under Tangier, under the band, talking about Stranded and saying Pam Anderson was in the video.
I think she was in a Cinderella video too.
Oh yeah, was she?
Yes, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure of the song, but I think she was.
Cool. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that myself too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like I said, I'm recording and writing now. I'm getting ready for the season, and this is a big season for me. Even though I worked winter, I worked 3, 4, and 5 nights, even in the winter, all around the tri-state area, and everything from you name it. I would play funerals for people. I play weddings, and I play red club gigs. I play casinos. I have a horn
I
section.
love that.
We do that kind of stuff. Chicago and stuff. Yeah, you can find that on the net. And it's pretty cool to do some of that stuff.
Yeah, because one of the songs, what song was it? If You Can't Find Love had horns on it, didn't it? That sounded amazing. That was a great song.
That was like almost a ripoff from Ragdoll.
Yeah, but it was it's still, I never compared it to that, but
yeah,
but
I think that was inspired by that a little bit, because I think that was out at the same time.
Yeah, and it seemed on that album they used a lot of textures. There was B3, slide guitar,
let me tell you, it was such a great experience to have the guy who played pedal steel on Since You've Been Gone is one of the most famous pedal steel players in the world.
Wow.
He's played from Elvis to Willie Nelson, everything.
Yeah.
And he's like the guy. It's because Gary said that to me. He goes, who plays on that? I go, no, I have to look at it again. And he said the name of the guy. I can't remember his name right now, but I looked at his credits like, holy moly,
That's crazy, man. That's amazing.
And there was budget then to bring these people in, and the budget kept on getting bigger because at that time, they had money invested, So, okay, we need this. We need another month in the studio. We recorded the drums at the Tangier. We recorded it at a studio called One on One. And in the next room, Metallica was doing their record.
That's crazy.
They were doing drums. So I would give James Hetfield a ride home a lot,
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I met a lot of people, and I don't remember some people. I met Eddie, and I was friends with Eddie, lent me guitar, and but Paul McCartney told me not to drop names, so.
Love that. Paul McCartney, he was in Wings, right?
Yeah, I think he was in the band Wings, right?
Wings, he was in Wings.
Yeah, well, I heard that joke. You remember the Larry Sanders Show?
Yes. Yeah.
Hank Kingsley said that to Elvis Costello one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a joke. Well, Paul Murray told that.
I think me and my buddies used to joke about that in high school, to be honest with you. Be like, did you know Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings?
I mean, I just saw him on Saturday Night Live, and God bless him. He seemed like a little winded. He couldn't hit the notes, but he's 82, and he don't sing every day like Jagger does, in the shape that Jagger's in, or even Daltrey. I saw Daltrey last year. Daltrey, even though he was a bitch, he sounded great.
That's awesome. Did you see Paul McCartney in the new Spinal Tap?
Yes. I love Spinal Tap, man.
I do too.
I love those guys.
I do too.
Those guys are so talented,
Yeah, and I mean the fact like how they did that whole skit was that section was so well done.
Those guys are so good at what they do. Christopher Guest and Michael McKean and even Harry Shearer, they're brilliant.
Yeah,
they're just brilliant guys, and they write great songs too.
Yeah,
all that Christopher Guest movie, the Mighty Wind and all that stuff. I'm a fan of all that stuff. Best in Show.
It was a good second part after all those years.
Waiting for Guffman.
Waiting for Guffman?
Yeah.
I don't know if was that in that movie?
No, it's a movie that he did.
Oh, okay. Okay, I've never seen it. I'll have to see it.
Watch it. You'll laugh your ass off. It's the funniest thing in the world ever.
Wow.
I think it was one of the first movies he did after Spinal Tap.
Oh, I'm going to have to check that out for sure.
Oh, Waiting for Guffman. It's incredible.
Well, thank you for turning me on to that.
Yeah, you'll love it. You love that humor. If you like that humor, you'll love it.
I do. And I let Gwen watch it, the first one, and she kind of got it, but she didn't really.
Yeah, well, they'll never top the first one because that was just so brilliant,
Yeah,
they had it down.
Oh, did they ever? Right? And just, like there's so many things that that you can talk about. Like I'm a musician myself, so my musician buddies and we joke about it at gigs. Like we joke about
Oh yeah, you always got to joke. I mean, I've been in that situation, like, and Mega Rep's here, and Mega Late here, we're backstage, it's like
rock and roll.
Yeah,
I can't find the stage.
Hello, Cleveland.
Right. We had a moment. I played a gig on the weekend, and I do Bon Jovi. Like, I'm in a Bon Jovi tribute. So
right on.
So I play guitar in that. Well, our keyboard player had messed up his keyboard, the programming somehow, and he started Runaway, and we start playing it, and it was in the wrong key.
Oh my gosh!
And I just immediately, I was like, "This is such a Spinal Tap moment."
Yeah, well, I've seen that. I've had that happen to me too. Well, when I was on the road with Winger, they would use tape for backgrounds, and one night, like, the tape went out of sync.
Oh no!
And I saw him really get mad, because then there was a guy backstage, like, programming the tape.
Right.
So now it's a trigger. The sample. We do about 5 songs that use samples. Like some Black Sabbath and some Who stuff. Won't Get Fooled and Eminence Front and Baba O'Reilly. We do all those songs.
Wow.
Sample that keyboard part. But I play piano on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny. It was just like, I just stopped. I changed the guitars because I thought my guitar was out of tune. So I changed the guitars midway through the song. And I'm like,
what was it? What was it, like a whole step out?
He didn't even know. When I drove home with him, and I said, he's like, I don't even know what it was in. You couldn't even play, like, our bass player caught onto it. And I was like, I just threw my arms in the air.
Well, he probably pressed a transpose button, but, for the singer to have to switch keys like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And he made it through too. So, and then we laughed about it, like, even to the crowd, right? Because it was, what are you going to say?
Well, when you hear that part, you hear that, like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah. Oh.
I recorded it, and when I recorded that first record, that LeCompt record. I recorded that before Tangier, and Bon Jovi was written in the studio recording one of the records right after that. I think it was the second record.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. I got to hang out with them, and
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Long time ago. Time flies.
Oh, does it ever? Well, as you said, like, we spoke 6 years ago, right? Like,
it was 2019.
I know. And I looked at that and I was like, 2019, it didn't seem like that long ago. So,
right. And I, when you go through, sometimes I'll go through these messages, and I'll see like 1,000 birthday requests from 2014, Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for joining me, man. It's been a pleasure. It was really.
Oh, this is the first I've done this in a long time, and this is part of promotion, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, because I got new music out, and I have old music out. There's a lot on Spotify. There's some old records on there, and there's some cool stuff on there. So if you get a chance, go to Spotify and check out some of those old songs, and we'll talk again. Yeah. And I'll send you some new stuff, and it'll be great.
Okay, well,
I hope to see you maybe at Eagles game.
Yes, we're going to try. Or Phillies. We're going to try come to Philly maybe next year. So,
right on. Well, fingers crossed. And I'll take you around.
Okay, man, that'd be great. Right on, Mike. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Okay, take care, man.
Check the link.